Hey everybody, I am Matt Hill. I'm in the Trace Management podcast studio. Trace Management is a oil and gas engineering and consulting firm, and they've done me a great honor by giving us a space to work on energy literacy in, every space possible. Invite guests in, support them and their causes, and we have a great guest today. Introduce yourselves.
I'm Dara McBee.
And I'm Katie Kenmith.
We're with the Oklahoma Energy Resources Board, or OERB. For those that don't know, we work on behalf of Oklahoma Oil and Gas. We're funded by 0.1% of a tax assessment on the sale of oil and gas. We were founded in 1993 at the request of the industry to do two main things. A lot of people have heard of our well site cleanup program or land restoration program, where we cleaned up orphan or abandoned well sites across the state.
That's the first thing I saw about you guys. I think maybe even before I was in oil and gas, it was like, hey, we clean up, well sites.
Yeah, a lot of these sites they're historic, so 100 years old in some cases, or more than 100. So we get to do a lot of good things on behalf of the industry. Again, it's all voluntarily funded. People can get a refund, and we have about 95% of companies that keep their money in every year.
Yep.
And then the other half of what we do is education, and that's from K through 12 to we have some technical training programs. We do college scholarships, and then we do energy literacy or public education. And we also have producer education. For our producer education was SOAR, which was the Marginal Well Commission. Now it's called Sustaining Oklahoma's Energy Resources. We love an acronym. We keep an acronym going.
I just sent my buddy all of them, because he was like, hey, how do I get started, looking through, because I have the Oilfield Tailgate page, and it has a calendar of events on it. And I made that thing just for me at one point. And then I'm like, oh, yeah.
Now it's all over.
Now I can share, a Google Calendar pretty easily. But he asked me, I said, hey, it's probably not up to date yet. I've been on the road. And he goes like, well, where did I go? I'm like, okay, that's easy. AADE, SPE, IADC,
Gotta make it easy.
OEPA. And it was like, I kept going, and he's like, stop. Never mind. I'll just wait on you to update your deal. But I think we probably have close to, at least probably 30 organizations in Oklahoma that are dedicated to our industry in some form or fashion, which is remarkable. Mm-hmm. So anyway, continue. Sorry.
It is. And we're really, OERB's it's definitely the gold standard in the nation. We're the only state that has a well site cleanup component, which was just the vision of our leaders, 26, 7, close to 30 years ago. So Oklahoma really is heads and shoulders above the rest as far as that goes. And our education programs too. We have K through 12. We have 9 curricula that are energy literacy. We teach thousands of teachers every year how to use that curriculum in the classroom. We give them free classroom materials. We give them free field trips. Again, and it's all, through funding from the oil and gas industry. One thing that we're excited about, we just went through and revamped our Petrotech program, which is offered through Tulsa Tech and Francis Tuttle here in Oklahoma City. So we just wanted to make sure that we're offering the best classes that people need right now. We did some short track components, so you can get like a land tech or certification faster than you would have normally. But for the first time ever this fall, we're offering the entire program for free.
Wow.
So we're going to do 2 classes, one class in Oklahoma City, one class in Tulsa. If you can get in under that class kind of cap, you will get free certification. And so again, you could be a geotech, a land tech, or an engineering tech. A lot of our students, we don't guarantee it, but a lot do get hired even before they get certified.
It's all hands on deck right now. I don't know of very many operators or service companies that aren't looking around saying, hey, we're our industry's growing like we knew it would, right, and we need people that at least are interested in being trained.
Or even someone who's not in the industry and wants to completely change their track too, which is great.
Yeah, I absolutely am fascinated by all you guys offer. That's why I've been begging you guys to be in here. Like, hey, when you get time, because obviously all those programs don't occupy any of it.
Well, and we can talk for days. Yeah. You're getting a Cliff Notes version, so we need to come back so we can.
I totally meant this to be a series.
It needs to be a standing event.
Yeah, or you guys can just be my co-host going forward, and the 3 of us will invite one person in to grill each week.
Exactly.
Right? Like, what have you been doing for oil and gas today? And, I love the stories of our people. So obviously I'm going to ask, like, what did you, what's kind of your history? Where'd you grow up? How'd you get into oil and gas is what you're doing today?
So I'm from Elgin, Oklahoma. Was in the FFA, showed sheep, went to OU for my undergrad and master's, and was in news right out of college. I was a reporter and anchor at the ABC affiliate in Lawton, kind of my hometown. And did that for 5 years. And then Mike Terry hired me to come to the OERB to do communications. And I've been there ever since. Almost 10 years.
Did you have a lot of knowledge of oil and gas at all before you got to the OERB? Or just like, I obviously use oil and gas at some point, but I don't really know the whole thing.
Everyone that grows up in Oklahoma knows something about it for the most part, especially in rural Oklahoma.
You don't point out there and go, look at that fracking machine.
Right. But I wouldn't have been able to tell you that. No. And so, not much. And so it's been a learning ever since. I'm always learning. I'm still obviously not, definitely not an engineer. But that's what's so fun about this job is it's always changing. There's always stuff to learn.
There's always stuff to learn. What about you, kiddo?
I am also from Lawton, so there's that. And grew up there. I went to college in Ohio, stayed there for 10 years or so, moved back.
Ohio has a lot of great oil and gas stuff going on.
They do. And I did political consulting for my first job out of college back in Oklahoma, and then went over to OERB.
For a Republican, for what?
For political action committees.
Political action committees,
yes.
PACs, yeah.
And so I didn't really know anything about oil and gas. The only thing I knew about it was my sister worked in oil and gas, and that was...
She's a rock star, too.
And that was basically my bare minimum. And like Dara said, like learning something new every day.
People from Lawton are the salt of the earth. If you grew up from Lawton and you made it, you have a lot of character.
Yes.
They're good people.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, by all means, you guys have an island, down there. There's not a whole lot of towns right around you. It's not, Oklahoma City, so you guys have kind of created your own place. And you guys got a lot of outdoor stuff, so I always see a lot of people from Lawton, like really, natural resources kind of people, they're and pro-America by far because, you have the military right there. So, yeah, I love Lawton as well. I go down there and do a little hiking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Chase rattlesnakes, all the good things.
Only thing to do.
Buffalo, elk, man. Now you're getting excited. Like, I might have to run down to Lawton and go check it out. You know what? Never mind. It's way too hot right now.
It's not worth it.
So what can people do, to in our industry, are you noticing that is really, driving energy literacy? Is it just pushing them toward, OERB and saying, hey, look, I'm busy right now, but I don't have the resources, and boom, they do. What are you given to, work with teachers, stuff like that?
So teachers, obviously, they can come to a workshop. That's a little bit of energy literacy. We launched a new program probably a year ago now, and we're just about to kind of get some new modules on it. It's called our Ambassador Program. And so it's really for industry professionals. We're not asking people to go on the news, but a lot of what we find is you're an engineer, you're an expert at whatever it is that you do, but you don't know about tax contributions or, some maybe environmental things that your friends, your family, your neighbors are asking you. So we want to provide a toolkit for these people to have these conversations with their friends, family, neighbors. And so that's what it is right now. There's 8 modules, environment, economy, those things. We have been in some research from Dr. Scott Tinker down at the University of Texas. What he does, I think, is really exciting. Really, it's kind of like the true cost of energy. And so he just did a TED Talk that we're going to add as a module. I think is really important. And
we need to get Alex Epstein to add a TED Talk as well.
Well,
module. I love Alex Epstein right now. Well, maybe because his new book's out, so I'm super.
I'm like everyone keeps talking about it now.
I'm super fanboyed out right now on Alex and all of those talking points. And man, there's just so much to have to arm yourself with really good data and facts.
Right. And then the other piece that we wanted to do is not just connect with our industry, but also connect with our people who use a lot of our products, but maybe don't know how to feel about us one way or the other. That's really where we're trying to reach.
Everybody uses our product.
That's right.
We don't have a human being on earth,
right,
unless you're living in a jungle rubbing sticks together, but you're using oil and gas now. And love it because of the molecule, that energy. Man, it's so efficient, right?
Right. It's reliable,
abundant.
Yes.
All the good things we need to flourish as human beings.
Right. And so we're trying to reach that subset, that kind of neutral people in the middle who just don't know one way or the other. And so that's why we had Mike Rowe come in, and he went around the state learning about oil and gas. He visited with people, down in Ellick, and added.
Pronouncing that correctly. My sister taught there for a long time. Yeah.
It is correct. Yeah. We worked on that. Yes. And in Chickasha, at a little diner in Chickasha, at a drilling rig up by Cashin. So we went all over the state. We went to Okarche High School and just talked to the people of Oklahoma and the people of Oklahoma Oil and Gas. And he really just wanted to learn about the industry. He's a fan of what we do. He's a fan of people who make something. And so we thought it was a great kind of person to have come here. And so we have started releasing some videos of some of those stories of Oklahomans. They're on our website at oerb.com/Mike Rowe. Yep. You'll start seeing them on TV during, the football season too. We still have a lot we haven't even released. We'll be releasing new videos in that series through probably October. And it'll culminate with his in-person appearance at our Oklahoma Oil and Gas Expo.
Where's he live at? Does he live in California?
California.
Oh, man. You know what? He should make an escape and come live with us.
I agree.
California.
Yeah.
Bring him to the oil field tailgates anytime he's in town during the season, okay?
He's a good ambassador. He has a lot of good conversations with his neighbors and stuff. So.
I think that was the coolest thing too, was every different type of person could relate to him in what we did. So that was just cool for other people to see it that way too.
We had some of his stories in movie theaters. So before Top Gun and some of the big summer blockbusters. And someone saw it before Top Gun and wrote on his page that she was disappointed. And he didn't reach out to us. He did his own kind of response and it went viral. We've had people call from all over the nation. Pennsylvania Oil and Gas Association released a fact sheet on just his response. So we think, a great person. He reaches, across, just so many people really, really love what he does. He's such a good guy. His technical training scholarships is another, reason we really like him. And so that just kind of showed there is an appetite for a common sense approach to energy in our country. And so we think that he's, a great person.
All of us have to become that kind of ambassador. I mean, that's why I'm doing this. I stopped trying to beat the left over their heads with
today's world.
Yeah, listen, this is so vital. It's catastrophic if we shut down oil and gas in a ton of ways. Now, listen, I'm not saying don't subsidize like we do alternate, energy research, but also don't penalize us when we're providing the main source of energy for unforeseeable future as of right now until there's decade. I mean, oil and gas has been researched and utilized for so long. We have those layers and layers and layers of decades of research to harvest those as efficiently as we do. And we're still not, when we drill a well, we're scraping out 10% of our resources. And and it's still the most efficient energy resource out there, other than possibly what could become someday nuclear. But again, we don't have, because of almost to the point of illegal, you can't really go and research how to utilize nuclear. So this is our energy, and we're on the front lines of, hey, we can trigger other, people who disagree with us, or we can say, hey, I understand that you've been taught something different. If you would like to discuss it, you can either listen to me, or there are a lot of experts, smarter with better data, and you can find out for sure that this going forward cannot be stopped, or humans will not flourish.
Everything you said is kind of baked into our ambassador program. Yep. That's the goal of it. So I encourage people to sign up for that. And we're going to have Katie send you a swag bag when you get done with the first 8. And we're going to start doing some exclusive networking pieces around that too. But yeah, it is. I could talk about it for days, but we have some really interesting things that you just said that are in there. I think Scott Tinker has a few pieces specifically about kind of some of the stuff you just said.
What do you guys see as the future of the OERB? Because you guys, in that same building down there, I love the layers of, common goals and common people and outreaching, in every part of our industry. You have the Petroleum Alliance, which is people going out to speak to our, lawmakers and leaders and giving them those tools for education and saying, hey, we need you to make sure and not restrict us from doing our jobs, and here's why. And then you have you going out to the public, and then you also have the cleanup side of it, and then SOAR, on and on and on. It's fascinating. And thank God we have, all three of you going after it every day.
That's right. We are in the same building. Their advocacy, we're non-advocacy. Per statute, we can't, influence legislation. So that's something that differentiates us, but we're able to kind of work parallel, I think, and make each other stronger. And so that's really exciting. And one thing that we did a couple years ago is kind of a slight rebrand. So instead of just OERB, and some people don't know what that means, our logo now is Oklahoma Oil and Natural Gas, because we are on behalf of the people of Oklahoma Oil and Gas. So we want people to use our restoration numbers, our education numbers, and the materials that we donate, the field trips that we donate. We want them to use that for their ESG reports. So we're kind of, thinking through ideas of easy ways to do that.
There's something you can add to it. You can add somebody on staff maybe to help people write ESG reports.
Well, SOAR, ding, ding, SOAR, actually, our producer education team are working on a program with that. I think they're going to partner with OU on that.
Yeah, let the interns do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the good news is we are going to offer that, because that is a huge component. Everyone needs that ESG report now. So just educating people how to do that.
Yeah, man, that's excellent. I mean, so many students now, are coming to enlightenment of like, oh, I've been told oil and gas is going to go away, but no, they're smart. They can see the big picture of, no, it's going to grow. Every country that didn't have it before is going to have, tools to go out and harvest their most efficient resource, which is oil and gas. So we're going to be helping them, and they're going to train engineers from all over the globe at our schools, because we know how to do it here in Oklahoma. And there's other great schools around the nation, but ours, come on, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So how many wells do you think OERB has helped go? Or I'm sorry, now it's Oklahoma Oil and Gas.
Well, we're OERB.
Okay, so how many wells do you think they've helped clean up over the years? Do you have any numbers on that?
We do. We're now over 18,500. It's probably like 18,600.
Wow. Mm-hmm. How many on the list to go out and look at?
About that same amount.
To go out and further remediate. Mm-hmm. And what's that entail? Like, sometimes it's like, hey, we need to go out and put, just get rid of the salts and the hydrocarbons with, different products out there, or is it like sometimes like, hey, we're going to have to, dig it up and move it?
So we do everything except for plugging so far.
Plugging, yeah.
We potentially, so far. But a lot of it's surface damage, concrete debris. If it's in a rural area, we will break that concrete up and bury it. We work with local contractors all over the state, so that gives money, to the local communities. We are exempt from the state bidding practices, so we're able to work faster and more efficiently.
Cheaper is not always better.
And so we clean up the saltwater scarring is a major thing that we clean up. It's cheaper a lot of times to just build a pond.
Yep.
The team that we've been working with for, more than 20 years to do it, they're experts now. And so those ponds are totally fine. The salts are heavier than the water, so you can put fish in it. The first question we get asked when we go to someone's land is, well, when's my pond going to be ready? And it's like, well, you don't qualify, but we do a lot of ponds every year, because that is
everybody gets a
the
pond.
easiest way. Yeah.
Or maybe my lawn has an old well site in the back that I'm going to go find and can get a pool.
A pool.
Concrete pond. It dates me, I guess. I was the only one to watch that show.
We have also cleaned up some mud pits. We kind of do everything. As long as it's not plugging a well, we'll consider it. We work with the OCC or the BIA to determine if there's a responsible party. And we do everything we can to make sure there is no responsible party. Again, like in Osage, we've only been cleaning up wells there for about 10 years. And then we got a good relationship with the BIA and have cleaned up probably 1,500 now in Osage. A lot of those are from the 1920s. So we cleaned up a wooden tank battery last year. That's how old they are.
It's neat to go talk to those guys. They're talking about how some of those valleys, the first cars, and they had their headlamps that they would, have to light with, matches and stuff. And they had to push their car out of those valleys so they wouldn't ignite and have a big, explosion in the mornings to get moving.
Wow.
Because all those, the gases or the hydrocarbons would sit low to the ground in those valleys. So they're like, let's push our car out of here before everybody lights it up, right? Like, boom.
Yeah.
I have I need to make sure and introduce you guys. My Uncle Craig has a really neat new technology where you can either go out and plug the well, or maybe just put a new piece of casing patch in it and it might be something really quick for everybody to use. It's new technology, but I'll make sure and get you guys his information. Not that you plug the wells, but that's a component of it. And there's a lot of talk about plugging and abandoning wells around the country. So this is actually able to not necessarily plug it forever, but once it's there, it's safe. But then sometime in the future, if we have the technology and want to go back and re-enter those wells, it'll be available.
That's great.
So it takes everybody. What else you got going on? What's your events coming up? You got big events coming up.
We do. So SOAR is another branch of OERB, like I mentioned. And so their annual, which probably a lot of people have heard about, the Oklahoma Oil and Gas Expo. This is the 25th anniversary this year. So we're calling it Expo 25. And our goal is to make it, the biggest event to date. We wanted to make it a celebration of Oklahoma oil and gas.
It's the biggest oil and gas show in Oklahoma anyway. I mean, we have some, great ones that come in. We have the Heart and others, but I'd say yours by far is the most highly attended. Looking forward to it. Everybody loves to come. You have speakers there this year?
So this year we're going to have Mike Rowe. We haven't ever had a speaker in the past, but this year he's going to come and he'll be speaking. And it's the only event that's put on by volunteers. So it's put on by the industry for the industry. We still have a lot of booth spaces. Our platinums are sold out.
The booths aren't. Hey, you got to put them in booth. They're not bad.
It's very cost effective. We're not in it to make money.
No, you're there to highlight oil and gas.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Vendors. I mean, if
Make
you
contacts
have,
all day long.
Networking is key. I mean, we've all learned that. Like, and that's something I learned. Forever ago, because I had good mentors. Like, networking is about you meeting someone and seeing what you can do for them. That's what this is about. And sure enough, that's pretty much what our industry is about.
That's right.
Yeah, and this year we're trying to make it, because it is our 25th anniversary, trying to make it give them a little bit more in having more EMPs partnering with service companies to do our barbecue competition, which is going to be so much fun. And we have 6 teams so far right now.
That's good.
Yes, and we're shooting to. They will have 2 awards: the judges panel and the People's Choice.
So the 6 teams. Memorize the teams.
The 6 teams are: we have Continental and Select, we have Oventive and FlexChem, Through Tubing and Caliber Resource Partner, Schlumberger and Gulfport, CP Energy, Priority, and Tally Production.
I feel like I could probably be in that just for my barbecue beans. Like, I'm not going to make the meat.
It's just a small bite is all we're asking.
Exactly.
We kind of modeled it off of North Dakota has a cook fest. So kind of like that. It's just one small bite each team is going to make. We're going to have a panel of judges. It's going to include Mike Rowe. It's going to include state leaders.
He's from California. I mean, I don't know.
We are going to have some official barbecue judges.
Okay, because I don't want him to pop up and go, "Hey, I eat tofu cube."
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
He does like barbecue. And so we added this to one of our drives every year is to get as many. We have service companies that come and have the booth, so they want to meet the producers, and so we have a marginal well, like the small producers that are there. We really wanted our big companies too. So we have now we have Continental and Oventive, and so we're going to have more than ever those people there. So if you're wanting to be a barbecue team, we still need more. We are saying it's the most bang for your buck as far as the sponsorship, because it's really just
except for oilfield tailgate parties.
Okay.
Sure, I guess we'll let that slide.
I mean, you've been. She's basically my co-host down there nowadays. Like, all of a sudden, I show up and all of her friends are like, "Let's do this."
I bring all my friends, of course.
You should. I want you to. All your friends are in oil and gas. That's what's the party's for. Yeah. You were prepared for this, conference, this little conference of yours long before. Well, you started coming to that before you were even doing this, right?
Yes.
Your sister was bringing you. Yeah,
always came with her.
Yeah, that's funny. I like it. Thank God. So so you're in oil and gas because of me. You found out that the oil field tailgate.
Exactly. It does come
what is
full
this
circle.
oil field thing? Yeah. Well, I know how to recruit people into this industry. Get them down to Norman to the oil field tailgate parties.
That's right.
That's how you got in this too, probably. Somebody brought you in because of the oil field tailgate. It all circles back. Oh my gosh. All right. So We've gone through the OERB. What am I missing? Like, you guys brought notes. You are my most prepared guest ever.
Well, we want to make sure we hit all the highlights.
There's a lot.
All the highlights. Hit them all. Go.
So, yes. So, Expo, we encourage all companies to come out and have a booth. It's really cheap, and we're working deals this year. So, just reach out to us. But we're definitely, if you think of a lot of expos, whatever their cost of booth, it's not that. Again, we're not in it to make money. We're in it to celebrate Oklahoma Oil and Gas. It's a networking event. It's an educational event. We want people to come, we still have a lot of booths. I think our platinums are gone.
Platinum's gone. We have silver, gold, and just a regular exhibitor.
And a legacy. There is still a legacy.
And legacy.
And I'm sure there's other ways to sponsor as well. If you don't even want to have a booth,
100%.
what else can I do?
Yeah.
Well, you could be a barbecue team.
Yeah.
And if you are a barbecue team, you get a free booth.
Okay.
If you want one.
Yeah.
Or you can have a free booth next year. Again, the barbecue team's probably going to get the most visibility. That's why we say it's kind of probably the biggest bang for the buck, because you're going to have, I don't want to promise, but probably the governor is going to be one of our judges if he's available. We're gonna have,
If you and Pinnell don't show up, I'm going to start.
well,
calling
we're asking both of them to be on our judges panel, and then Mike Rose. So you're getting that; those people are going to come by your booth, and then everyone there that wants to eat are going to be coming by your booth. So we think it's a really big value. And again, this year we're making deals.
You're not going to let 1 inch of that space go to waste.
That's right. Exactly.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. You're going to have clowns
3,000
and balloon
attendees.
people and probably show some sheep.
I would. Yeah.
We can have that
How
one
much
next
does
year.
it cost? He has a sponsor to have her show sheep.
I will go in with you.
I don't even know. I'll get off in the weeds here, but yesterday one of my buddies, and I know he was in the FFA, but he sent me a video, and there was like a lady like fluffing the tuchus of a sheep. I didn't even know they had like the big old tuchus. First of all, I was like, "What in the? Why are you sending me
The good
this?"
ones do.
Yeah, the good ones do.
She knows it all.
Yeah, so there you go. We might have some sheep fluffers.
Yeah.
There you go. Like you get to like get
Yeah,
them all
things have
dolled up.
changed.
Now you can
when
add that to
I
your resume.
showed you, it was really slick. You sheared them like really slick, but now they leave a little fur and they do like them fluffed up more. It's changed since my days.
Yeah, they look odd. I don't want. Yeah, so there you go. But most importantly, we're gonna have a full blown oil and gas rig in the parking lot, and we're gonna go drill that day. Right? Everybody gets a turn at the. You get to throw some chain. That's what I heard.
Honestly,
It's gonna be
not
awesome.
a bad idea. If we could figure out how that would
So
work.
incorporate that next year too. Is oil and gas oil and gas games, like who can swing a sledgehammer.
It's a pretty good idea.
Oh, I have good ideas in here. And I'm not even drinking the whiskey. What else? Give me some more points.
Well, we said the barbecue competition. That's new this year. Mike Rowe's going to be there this year. It's free. It's always free to attend if you pre-register. Booths are cheap.
Yeah.
That's pretty
And
much
if you're in oil and gas, or you're out, if you're a celebrity around the world and you just like, man, I'm going to go show my support for everything that I look around me that I love, and you want to show up and flex and get us more Instagram views on your account, thank you. Come on into Oklahoma. I think Sylvester Stallone might show up. He was talking about it at his, he's making that show, right?
Yeah.
I think Sylvester will probably come.
Surely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to get every celebrity in the state, essentially.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, Gary Busey, does he still live here? That'd be cool.
I never knew he did.
Oil. O equals, I don't know. I can't do it. He also has the acronyms and like what they mean. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, a lot of companies are busy right now, obviously. And so we, have heard that, but it's just a way, to get business. If you have too much business that you can't handle it, it's a way just to show your support for the industry. Like you want to be there that day because this is going to be the day the industry converges.
There we go.
The fairgrounds.
Hey, I know of another sponsorship you need. Wi-Fi sponsorship. You guys can get those Pelican boxes. I'll send you the link, but you guys can get the Pelicans, and then everybody has high-speed Wi-Fi in there, and then you guys can get some 5G, mini towers out there too. So there's 2 more spots. See, super extra sponsored. Yeah.
Well, that's a good idea. We do offer. So all of our exhibitors, we don't nickel and dime anyone. They get free Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But it may not be great Wi-Fi.
It drags.
Okay.
I can't go in there and go live.
Good to know. I didn't know.
No, with that many people off of the one tower that Oklahoma City, uses. I mean, come on, our leaders in Oklahoma City. Come on, Mayor, get some more Wi-Fi towers going on. We need it. I don't know why.
Send us that info on a Pelican.
They're cool. They're just little boxes, and they ship it to you, and it's like rented for the day. and it gives everybody high-speed internet.
See, this is what we need.
Yeah.
We need
I don't-
exhibitor
yeah.
feedback.
Oh, I'm a
We're
nerd.
always
Exactly.
trying to optimize.
I'm a nerd on that stuff. Like everybody there is trying to get work done. Or when I
Mm-hmm.
show up, what if that celebrity does come, right? And they want to take that shot. I know it's
Mm-hmm.
silly, but you're like, oh, I can't get out. Never mind. And then it's wasted. Then we don't have the people show up. And it's just a one-day event. So
Mm-hmm. One day.
there we go. We need people to.
And it is the best way to find qualified candidates too if you're hiring.
Are they having a hiring event there?
There are
It could be.
people specifically having booths. I don't know if I should say them publicly, but there are some of the largest companies in Oklahoma that will have a booth indoors for the first time ever.
Nice.
And I know that they are hiring.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons they said they wanted a booth.
There we go. We're begging for more hands. We need
Mm-hmm.
we need young minds. We need women. We need diversity. All the thoughts so that we continue to grow.
Yep.
I love it. How do people get a hold of you?
Well, our website, they can look on our website. The expo website is okoilexpo.com
OKOilexpo.com.
or our website, oerb.com. And they can find our contact information there.
How come SOAR doesn't have all of its own social media platforms?
Well, because it's not its own group. So it was, which is why it's kind of confusing. But technically, if you think again of our education programs, we have student education, we have public education or energy literacy, and now we have producer education. So it's really just a piece of what we do every day. And so that's another thing we're kind of working on is
Just go ahead and get it done. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like what? It takes like 30 minutes and SOAR will have all of its own pages.
yeah.
They can also be if you already know this, right? Like LinkedIn can have sub pages. So there you go.
Yeah.
It's taken care of. It's a sub page of your OERB. I'm here to help.
Okay, well.
I know I do all this stuff. I do it all the time for AAD, IADC, SP, all the acronyms.
Yeah, I want to think through that. It's a good idea. We want people to know that, hey, this is a part of the OERB. This is something we do every day. It's
I
not
want
kind of a separate entity.
every single road to you get to you.
Yep.
If they start typing acronym in, I want them to zip over to the OERB. I really, and I think you guys agree, I think energy literacy might be the most vital thing we all need to be thinking about for our future right now. It's scary how little people know.
We do. I talked about our ambassador program, which really we designed for industry people. But we are going to at least explore within this next year adding another track that's just energy literacy. So it's for anyone who wants to go through, whether you're a legislator, whether you're just a doctor and you just want to know, whoever you may be. We want to create kind of a separate but equal kind of component of that. That's for just the general public.
Yeah, I mean, we can all look at the headlines today, yesterday, and probably tomorrow, and there's just a lot of, just completely false, rhetoric and false data on what we do and how we do it, and all the components that make our world, good for humans. Period.
That's right.
And that's what I focus on. Like everything else. I'm sorry, but rivers, mountains, streams, and flowers and all that stuff, very beautiful aesthetically, but none of that out there is conducive to like making life easier on earth for human beings. We've created everything we need to flourish, and going forward, we will need more of it. Which
I think it's important to note, which some of our stuff does, is it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be one or the other. There doesn't have to be a line in the sand.
it's continuing to fund
That's right.
everything. Like ours is what's powering all of that. It's what powers someone to have the time to, hey, guess what? We now have enough energy to make food, shelter, clothing, not something that we're just scrounging by to get, but now we have, I can go to Walmart and get a $5 t-shirt and a meal and all that stuff so cheaply that for the rest of the day, I'm not scrounging for all those resources. So now I have time to sit down and start doing calculations and say, it's like, it just those fingers out to everything.
Yes, having an access to reliable energy, and some of the micro videos that we saw and Scott Tinker modules in our ambassador program talk about this too. It's, kids being able to study at night when it gets dark because they can turn on the light. And then it's, educating people about how they turn on the light. Where does that energy come from? Dave Lenormand, our chairman, was talking to Micro about that specifically.
Man, Dave Lenormand, that is my boy.
Yeah, he's awesome. And so that's what he's saying. It's really hard. We are trying to educate people about where the energy comes from. A lot of people just think you flip on the switch and there it is, but they don't realize it's oil and gas. And if the wind isn't, blowing and the sun isn't shining, it's, natural gas. It's reliable.
And yeah, I mean, that's another component is wind and solar they're neat and they're in their infancy, but we can't really store their energy yet either. And oil and gas has a natural storage, and it's, from, solar at sometime near the dinosaurs, sunlight hit all those microorganisms, and now we have, natural resources, but
Right.
it's stored underground for us, and it's reliable because we can go get it when we want now with our engineering. I mean, it's fascinating.
That's right. 96% of manufactured goods are made with oil and gas byproducts. So that's your cochlear implant, that's your heart valve, that's your syringe. It's things that really impact the quality of life for everyone. And so, yeah, that's the challenge. It's why Katie and I, and your job is some of the hardest, because it's hard to get people if they just don't really care. They just, they enjoy our products, but they just want to read a headline and they,
And they just want to disagree,
Yeah.
or they just want to make it seem something bigger than.
yeah, they may be green if it's convenient for them or easy for them, but
Why can we not maybe you two can do it. No one's going to listen to me. I'm an older white guy, but maybe, just maybe, we can change it and go, you know what, we can't afford to call it fossil fuels anymore. Let's just call it earth energy, because green energy, that beautiful marketing genius sometime in the past went, let's call anything alternate other than fossil fuels green energy, and people buy it hook, line, and sinker, regardless of what it is. This is bubblegum power green energy. Oh, it's green. It's green. Let's toss all of our money at it and see what happens. I mean,
well, that's why we hire Mike Rowe. We're hoping people are like, ooh, I like Mike Rowe. I think that he's got a lot of common sense. He's a nice guy, and so that's, why we're hoping the stories that he tells will maybe reach some people.
there you go.
And it's always the
Common sense.
continuing education with that too, and the connection that they can make with Micro or with whoever it is.
Oh, man, I love what you guys are doing. I'm really just so excited for you. Thank you for doing what you do, because we all, for years and years and years, I had my head buried in work, and I looked up and I looked around and I was like, what? There's people that don't like oil and gas. There's also people, that's always me. There's people that don't like oil and gas. What? They also don't like farming and ranching and like all the things, like you just, like, if you're from a small town in northwest Oklahoma, just trudging ahead and working and thinking everybody's high-fiving you. Oh no, that's not the case.
Specifically, when Mike went to the diner in Chickasha, he was talking to the Chickasha mayor, and he was saying our two industries here are ag and energy. And Mike Rowe said those are two of the biggest, misinformation industries in the U.S.
There's people that are fighting against our industries. That's all it is.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just marketing teams going out and I need to take money from this investor, and this guy over here wants it for his project, so I'll come up with whatever narrative I need to move that money. I mean, well done. It's working. So we haven't, as an industry, ever thought we needed to, but apparently no one understands. So now, like, hey, all hands on deck. Go out and educate everyone around you on. Start with your own bubble. Make sure your own family understands what we do.
100%.
And go out from there. And you all have the tools to go give them what they need: data, facts, everything.
That's right. And we're always adding, we're always optimizing. We want people to get involved. Again, like the stuff that we create is for the oil and gas industry. We want them to take ownership of it, share it on our social, share it with your network, just like you said. And if there's a resource that you need and that we might be missing, we could either find it for you or provide it. So we love to hear from people, and are always open to feedback.
Man, and you guys got a lot of, you got to go check out all their social media. They have so much, available, and, from, 30,000 foot views down to a little bit more granular. So it's nice. Yeah. I can't think of anything else to add to all the things you do, but I'll keep, trying to help. You can call me and I'll roll.
Well, we appreciate you having,
you.
Yeah.
Well,
having us.
Heroes right here, buddy. You know it. Let's
You're
go.
a hero. You're telling stories every week.
Exactly.
Go around the room one more time, just in case. Matt Hill, night fire specialist. I build little equipment to make sure your oil and gas sites are safe.
Katie Kinmouth.
Dara McBee.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
God bless everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.